with Kamala Harris and for Kamala Harris. And I got to tell you, when you watch Barack Obama and you see him, he just feels and looks like a man defeated. He doesn't have the same gusto. He doesn't have the same cachet. It just feels different. And so I just wanted to play some audio from some of the things that he was talking about at this rally over the weekend. So here's Barack Obama as he started off talking about the vice presidential candidate there, Tim Walz, who he and
I'm a knucklehead at times.
Well, that's not what he said, but he really likes him. He feels good.
And by the way, she'll have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz.
So the crowd goes crazy. They're excited. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Give us the goods.
I love that dude.
He loves that dude. All right. So what do you love about him? Let's see.
He is a veteran. He's a teacher. He's a coach. He was a great governor.
Okay. There's a couple of stretches there where you're like, I don't know, a great coach, great veteran. Okay. I mean, there's some things that he maybe stretched the truth about. And how did he? Oh, and a great governor. Now, for those that don't remember, that's the same governor who watched as Minneapolis burned to the ground in 2020. I mean, it looked like a war zone. It was horrific. I think some people probably look back on that and don't think fondly. What else did Barack Obama say?
Turns out he can even take a vintage truck apart and put it back together again.
He can?
You think Donald Trump can do that?
Wait a minute. When did Brenda, do you know anything about this? Was there a time when we witnessed him tearing apart a vehicle and putting it back together again? Like, was that on video or did I miss that thing? I don't remember him.
I mean, I saw Trump masterfully get into a garbage truck, and I know Biden wouldn't be able to handle that. But, okay, I mean, what Obama's doing here is just not caring. It's the worst-kept secret in the world that no one believes in Kamala Harris. Wait, I said her name wrong. You do the jingle.
Oh.
It's not Kamala. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Kamala Harris.
Yeah, you got to get it right.
God willing, that will be the last time we ever have to do that after tomorrow.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, well, I'm hopefully there'll be time in between the election and maybe January where we might have some fun with it. But, boy, let me finish up some of the audio here because he's claiming that Tim Walz, I guess, dismantled an engine or whatever, a car, put it back together again. I don't remember seeing anything like that. He's asking if Donald Trump could do something like that. Then he says,
do you think Donald Trump has ever changed a tire in his life?
Have you ever changed the tire in your life, Barack Obama? I don't. Why are we? So we're supposed to believe that you have. I'm just saying, I don't really think Barack Obama's ever changed a tire in his life. I might be wrong, but I don't know. Just don't think so. So he's trying to make fun of Trump now, and he says,
if he gets a flat tire, he calls his chauffeur, Jeeves. Jeeves, change that tire.
Okay, so he says, he calls Jeeves. Jeeves, change the tire. Now, I want you to listen to the background. I'm going to let this play all by itself. Like, I'm not going to stop it, because here's the catch. Here's his Jeeves, Trump, never changed the tire, and then listen to the audience, because this is where it's just stellar. So listen to this, right?
Jeeves, change that tire. I don't know if his chauffeur's actually named Jeeves, but I like to think it's Jeeves.
What's going on here?
The point is, if you will...
Yeah, like, at least Obama's laughing at it.
Right. He's laughing at himself. He's laughing at the joke. Nobody's laughing. Nope. Nobody thinks it's funny. He doesn't know what he's lost the cachet. That cachet when Obama would speak and the crowds would roar, and he told a joke that fell flat, and he didn't know, and he kept it going, and the crowd is just silent, doesn't know what to do with it. It is and then it gets better or worse. All right, I don't know if you heard this, but then Barack Obama took this statement out of context once again. Listen to this.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
He did that, Brendan.
Drew, they will never let it go.
They won't.
It's
Now, for those that don't know, Barack Obama brought up to a crowd that didn't laugh at his joke, and it was a really uncomfortable moment, brought up to a crowd that probably already knows, because I'll bet that they are internet savvy. Thank you, Al Gore, for the interwebs. They are internet savvy, and they've already been through this on their own social media, because think about it. If you're one of the youths of America and you want to get back at that person that you know that's a Trump supporter, and Barack Obama brings up for the millionth time the lie about Charlottesville, and you go to the interwebs just like that, you can see the truth. You don't have to do anything else but Google it, and you find out that he's lying. So again, for those that don't get it, for you Florida Democrats who listen and watch the program at FL Voice News on YouTube and Rumble and X, thank you so much. We appreciate you watching and listening, and we know that you do. We see your messages. All right, so for those of you, again, who want to continue to make fools of yourselves, all right, here.
Oh, excuse me. To protest. Excuse me. They didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did.
Right, and then when they questioned him.
So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
Now, I would tell you, Florida Democrats, to stop, but you won't, because Trump. You really should, though, because you're embarrassing yourself. Here, keep doing it.
I'll say this last thing about Obama, and then I'll leave you so I stop cramping your style here.
You are cramping my style.
I argue all the time. Listen, Joe Biden will go down as one of the worst presidents in U.S. history, but Barack Obama is going to go down as the most the president that caused the most division in U.S. history. It all starts with him, and it's because of BS like that, pushing the racial flames every single chance you can get. And honestly, he's lost a lot of, I think personally, he's lost a lot of steam. And I don't think his influence matters as much these days, because I think a lot of Americans are starting to wake up and realize that this guy was a complete and total phony who just went up there and knew how to speak and cracked the occasional joke. And his jokes are not even funny these days. And knew how to work a crowd. No longer are those the days, and I think a lot more Americans are waking up. And you can thank guys like Elon Musk, who went out there, bought Twitter, and put a lot of pressure on a lot of other platforms such as Meta, Facebook, the Washington Post. A lot of other organizations are starting to follow suit and starting to balance out a little bit more of the conservatives, because they realize the truth is not on their side. And I'm very thankful for the people that actually put their money on the line to make this country a better place. All right. I think that was a good mic drop to get out of here, so I could stop embarrassing you.
You're not. Okay, goodbye. There he goes.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. Big day tomorrow, obviously, Election Day. We are super excited about what's coming. The founder of Florida's Voice, there's Brendan Leslie, joining us for a few minutes. We appreciate it. Yeah, one thing about Barack Obama before we move on, kind of a little of the inside baseball that I don't think people realize. Because if you take a step back to some of what Brendan was talking about and what he thinks about Barack Obama and the division in the country, and I will tell you this, there have been more than a few people who have said the progressives, some of the youths in America, some maybe who were very, very young during the time of Barack Obama, don't even remember him being president necessarily. They weren't politically active. They maybe were in the 9, 10, maybe their early teens. They're not fans of his. And the progressives in this country have never been really fans of his. And the reason why is because he didn't do enough to tear this country down. I've had more than a few people say that to me in the past few years. And they're spot on. If you think about it, if you're somebody who truly, honestly believes that Barack Obama was trying to bring change to this country, and not the kind of change we want, not constitutional, the rule of law, that kind of well, it was that kind of change. It wasn't siding with the Constitution and the rule of law. It was looking to do whatever you could to tear the country down, to separate people, divide people, and to take it to another place. You know, the tearing down to rebuild it in a new image. If you're one of the people who believes that that's what he should have done, he didn't get the job done, clearly. He did a lot, but he didn't get the job done. And so if you're a big lefty, if you're a big progressive, you're not a fan of Barack Obama's. You don't think that he's so great. Most Democrats think that he's great because he served 2 terms, and they're always happy with 2-term Democrat presidents. But I'm telling you, if you are a leftist in this country, one that cares about changing fundamentally the country, you're no fan of Barack Obama's. It's just a fact, Jack. All right, what else do we have today on Florida's Voice? Oh, by the way, if you are watching, we appreciate it. At FL Voice News, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Rumble or X. We appreciate you watching. And anytime you want to listen to the program, by the way, if you want to take us on the road, mobile, you want to listen 24 hours a day, you can go to my personal website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. You can go there to listen. And the app is coming soon. So get ready for that as well so you can take us along. Yeah, you know, when you look at Democrats, you always have to look to the celebrities to see what they're doing, to see what they're looking at, to see what they feel. Not because you want to be like them. I mean, the left wants to be like them because Hollywood, the elites, you know, they're all Democrats. So, of course, they want to be like them. There are a lot of Democrats out there, Hollywood, who's telling Americans what you should do, who you should be. Oh, maybe not. Here's an interview that was happening in New York City with some of the – no, this was in L.A., excuse me, with some of the celebrities out there in L.A. And what were they saying?
To have all of these cultural icons coming into our great city.
Oh, it's Philadelphia. Forgive me. These are all these cultural icons, these celebrities coming into Philadelphia to make the case. You know, the celebrities, the ones that always make the difference between the country going to their side of the ledger and not. said nobody ever, but that's okay.
Kerry Washington is among several A-list celebrities who joined Mayor Sherrell Parker at multiple events in the city this weekend.
Yeah.
What we're doing here today is we come here not as actors and entertainers. That's not why we're here. We are here because we are Americans.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So you're Americans. Your politics are wrong? My opinion. Okay. But let's not pretend why you're there. And let's not pretend that you're trying to use your celebrity and your cachet to try to change people's hearts and minds. At least Leonardo DiCaprio didn't show up, right?
We love this democracy.
Yeah.
Their focus was to stress the need to get out and vote.
Yeah.
Also with them was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, never mind. He showed up. Sorry about that.
Each and every one of you can make a difference by
By doing what?
doing a simple thing.
What's that?
And that's getting to the polls to vote, because every vote counts.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you. Are you doing everything that you can, Leonardo DiCaprio, to do what you can to stop climate change? Because you seem to be one of those guys, those celebrities, you know, the ones you got to follow. We're here as Americans. We're not here as celebrities. But as a celebrity, I get to fly on all different kinds of planes and put all kinds of things into the atmosphere and, you know, the carbon that goes out. Hey, how you doing with that? How's Taylor Swift doing with that? I don't want to use the word hypocrite, but if it fits.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jackinick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Earl Nightingale for Soundcheck Studios. Have you ever wondered how jingles are made?
Together we'll make America great again. We'll make it great. Together we'll make America great again. We'll make America great. Together we'll make America great again. We'll make it great.
How would you like to have a custom jingle made for your political campaign? Soundcheck Studios can make the perfect jingle for you right now. For information on campaign music, call Soundcheck Studios at 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515. Soundcheck Studios can make the perfect jingle for you right now. Call Soundcheck Studios at 239-340-0515.
America's great again. We'll make it great.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24. An election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional. Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, 866-588-8303. That's the number, 866-588-8303. Anytime you want to call the program live, 3 to 6 p.m., we appreciate it. All right, let's find out what's going on right now across the state of Florida. Top of the news.
Top of the news. Florida's headlines. Now.
Hey, look at this. One busy guy doing polling, doing the news. He does it all. He's got the headlines for us today. It's our friend Eric Doherty in the Florida's Voice newsroom. What's up?
Hi, Drew. We are just hours away from all Americans casting their ballots in what is likely to be the most important election day in the history of our country. That's what each candidate is saying. With so much at stake, you can imagine there's a lot to report here. Florida tells the Department of Justice to stay out of its polling locations. The Secretary of State says Florida has teams to monitor to ensure the voting integrity process is being followed. Cord Bird made the comment on Friday following the DOJ's announcement that it would be sending election monitors to make sure everyone is complying with federal voting rights laws. The DOJ said it planned to send monitors to 86 jurisdictions in 27 states during the November 5th election. DOJ says they regularly deploy staff to monitor for compliance with federal civil rights laws. With Florida's 30 electoral votes at stake, tomorrow matters a lot. Here's what you need to know. We have 2 time zones here, and that means the most of the state will start reporting results while some of the panhandle are still voting until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But no races can be called until all the polls close statewide. We have several ballot amendment questions, and they need 60% of the vote to pass. They are as follows. Amendment 1, partisan school boards. Amendment 2, the right to hunt and fish. Amendment 3, the decision to legalize weed. And Amendment 4, the abortion issue that would enshrine into the state's constitution a woman's right to end a pregnancy up until the point of, quote, viability. Remember, while this is a presidential election year, what happens down ballot matters even more sometimes because it directly impacts all of our daily lives. That's it for now. Be sure to check out all our other stories on Florida's Voice. Head on over to our webpage. I'm Eric Doherty, Assistant News Director. Drew, have a great day. Let's toss it back over to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't give you a chance to toss it, and he just did. All right, Eric, we appreciate you doing double duty there, not only in the newsroom, but also keeping us up to date on all the polls that are out there right now and checking the numbers. I'm looking at what Eric's got posted across the country. Arizona Republicans again expand their early voting lead now to nearly 200,000 voters. Wow. 40 to 32% over Democrats. Deep red towns in Wisconsin already have nearly 70% turnout. That's vastly outpacing blue areas. And he's looking at the town of Muskego in particular, Eric, that's in Waukesha County. City's votes are 12,000 right now. It's a 66% turnout. So that is big. By the way, the GOP has won a case against Cobb County, Georgia, deep blue county. Wanted to accept 3,000 mail-in votes after the election day deadline. And no, not going to allow that to happen. Big D, didn't we talk about this before we came onto the program? Were we talking, was that me talking to you, or was I talking to Eric about some of the things that were going on with some of the wins that we were having and some of the mail-in votes and some of those numbers? I'm trying to remember. What were we talking about before we went on the air about this? Because I know there was a lot of things that were going on around the country that you were keeping an eye on. Is that what it was? Was it the mail-in votes, or was it just winning cases? It was just the winning the court cases, right?
It's the court cases that we were talking about as far as the numbers and everything coming in. That must have been Eric.
Right, but the court cases, yeah. I mean, there's been multiple, right? This is just another one that Eric's mentioned, this Cobb County, Georgia. There's been a few. Yeah, so And the difference, I think, and one of the things that I was talking to Dee about was how the way the GOP this go around is just mobilized. You could feel it. There's something that just feels different. It's electric. Senator Rick Scott knows. He's joining us right now on Florida's Voice, and I think he feels that too because people are just ready. They're just done, and they're ready to get going. Tomorrow is going to be an exciting day. How are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm traveling the States. Just leaving DeSoto County. I've been in Okeechobee, DeSoto, Hardy. Where else? So I'm going to end up in Collier County tonight. So
nice.
Tomorrow I'll be in Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. And so we're working every day. And guess what? There is unbelievable energy for this race.
Yeah.
People know.
Yeah.
Freedom's on the ballot. A secure border's on the ballot. Crime's on the ballot. A good economy is on the ballot. Full-time jobs is on the ballot. Fighting fentanyl is on the ballot. You could name. I probably could come up with 20 things.
Right.
But there is an easy difference between the two. Just easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at where the Democrats are, and they're like, my opponent is a complete, utter socialist. I mean, she's best friends with AOC. She had one term in the Congress and lost. She's from Miami, and she became best friends with AOC and Ilhan Omar and voted with them and Nancy Pelosi. I don't think any of them could win a statewide race in Florida.
No.
So she just wants to lie. Just lie.
Yeah. I've talked about this before. I've mentioned this personally to me. You know, when you're trying to describe yourself as somebody who understands communism and understands what it's like to live under it, but it feels like you're espousing it at the same time. Like you're just somebody who isn't talking it down for something that we would have in the country. You would imagine that they would be speaking and wanting to do things differently than what they supposedly lived under and understand. So it's kind of a weird position to be in.
Why don't they just be honest?
Right.
If they're socialists, say, hey, I think it works better.
Right.
Yeah. But no, in a campaign, they want to say, no, I don't believe that. But no, they should go out there and just go all in and say, no, that socialism is the greatest thing in the world. But no, what they want to do is they want to go to lie and try to change the subject. No. They say, no, I don't, Rick Scott will do this. Well, like they said, oh, Rick Scott might raise taxes. Oh, I only cut taxes 100 times. Doubt that I would change, right? So, but the details. They just put up a whole bunch of liars. She's just this. I don't get these Democrats. Go and sell what you believe in, what you do. Why would you want to do this in your life? Lie about what you do, and then go up there and do the opposite.
Yeah. Right. And, you look at the state and then you look even nationally, people reject it. They are rejecting it. There's no doubt about it. It's so clear. And obviously in the state, the numbers we're seeing early on and what people are talking about, the people that I talk to is certainly all understand. And even for Democrats, Senator, it's all tangible. We're all living through this. We're all living through what's going on with prices. We're all living through
crimes impacting Democrats.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't just, so they don't say, oh, I'm just going to go after those Republicans. No, they don't check to see what you are before they shoot you. They steal your stuff whether you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah.
So, anybody that thinks it is smart to allow drugs, criminals, and terrorists into our country, first off, is an absolute idiot. Who in their right mind thinks that's a great idea?
Yeah, it's shocking. Yeah, it really is. And the flip side, maybe we could talk about the good stuff and the popular, the things that people are looking at, which is, listen, if we can get, let's just say, Trump in office, if we could get down ballot the things that we want to get done, that we would like to see get done, everybody will benefit from the positive things that will come. Won't that be nice?
Right. When I ran in 2010, think about it, there were 568,000 more Democrats in the state. I won my election because people said, hey, Rick Scott, he's got a plan, and the economy's really bad. There's other plans. They don't have a plan. I think I'll go with him. And guess what? It was better. We added 1.7 million jobs, not 700,000 jobs. Became number one in higher education, top 5 in K-12 education, 47-year low unemployment rate. Guess what? That wasn't just for Republicans. That was for Democrats, too.
Yep.
Because I represent everybody.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't get why the Democrats don't want to be honest about who they are. They have become the Socialist Party. Like, my opponent wants to give money to illegal citizens and raise our taxes. Now, how does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you're not a U.S. citizen, and they want to give your money when we already pay too high taxes as it is, and we're already running $2 trillion deficits. This is just stupidity, what these people are talking about doing.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think people are realizing what's going on, not just in the state, but across the country, but mostly here. There has been feels like there's been quite this pivot, and people are rejecting what the left is offering and have been. And so that is the good news. Now all we have to do is make sure that we ensure that takes place tomorrow with everybody's sacred vote, and a lot of work to do.
Vote. That's what I tell everybody. If you've got an absentee ballot and you haven't voted it, it's too late to mail it. So go take it to the supervisor elections office, right?
Right.
If you don't, go vote. If you're registered to vote, go get your vote and do it as early as you can tomorrow. The line, so hopefully the lines won't be as bad. So get your vote in. It looks like we'll probably have 3 million votes tomorrow around the state. We've already had over 8 million people voted. We're going to continue. I think they continue to have a big turnout. And if you want to be part of the future of this state and the future of this country, you have to be a voter.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. All right, Senator, listen, I know you're busy. I love having you on. I look forward to having you on again soon, and get some rest. You sound like you're traveling around so much. And when are you sleeping?
I know. I love all the people. I love campaigning.
I know you love getting out there. I know that, and there's something exhilarating about it too. It gets that energy level. The adrenaline. You just get going. You just love it. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
All right, sir. All the best. We'll see you soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
God bless. All right. We'll see you. There's Senator Rick Scott joining us on Florida's Voice. Yeah, no doubt. There's that adrenaline that kicks in. He loves getting out. That's a lot. All those places that he was naming off. That's a lot of places to go around the state. Just look, again, love seeing the people and love getting out there, and it's a good thing. All right, 866-588-8303, 866-588-8303. All right, what do we want to touch on right now? Do we want to go there? Okay, yeah, I guess I can go to this because the more that Democrats are talking about what they see, whether it's in the state or nationally, the more depressed they sound, and the more happier we get. It's fun when they feel like, it just doesn't feel like there's this passion, this emotion. It doesn't feel like the things that they have been concerned about is resonating. The things like getting out for Democrats to vote, making sure that you ensure that the evil, fill in every Istanobia and throw fascist in there. Donald Trump doesn't get into it's not sticking. And I think it was Van Jones who on CNN was really concerned about the numbers and the things that he's seeing in a place like Pennsylvania.
So this is it is door to door. Bruised knuckles, tired legs, a lot of coffee, and I'm nervous and worried, and I'm not going to be anyway until this thing gets called.
Okay, is there anything that is making you happy about Pennsylvania?
No, there's nothing making me happy about Pennsylvania. You got David Urban out there causing us trouble in the rural parts of the state. Get David Urban on this show and keep him here all day, and then I'll feel better.
Okay. He doesn't feel very good about anything that's going on right now in Pennsylvania. Really? Is that right? Not good, huh? All right. And again, you look at that. You look at what we talked about just before Senator Rick Scott came on. GOP wins the case against Deep Blue Cobb County, Georgia. Wanted to accept 3,000 mail-in votes after the Election Day deadline. We just got word that we won the case. Election Day is Election Day. That was Chair Watley from the RNC who had that message. It was Eric Doherty who put that out on his X account, which, of course, is an important follow. I'm telling you, Eric's a rock star. Do it. At Eric L. Daugh, D-A-U-G-H. Make sure you follow him on X. It's information that I'm telling you, you're not going to get anywhere else, and he's amazing. So we'll have some of those numbers, too, coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, the phone number 866-588-8303. We are live 3 to 6 p.m. across the state of Florida here on Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. My name is Drew Steele. His name is Big D. Big D's on the other side of the glass. Big D, we've talked about aliens before. We've talked about UFOs. We've talked about all of these things in the past. We haven't talked about it recently. Did we ever? No, we didn't have a recent story. Here's something from studyfinds.org. You ready for this? The state of Florida. How are we and other states in the country when it comes to surviving an alien invasion? Supposedly, there's a police handbook on UFOs, and there's a website that can't do it with a straight face. There's a website that put out a list of which states would fare better during an extraterrestrial invasion. Now, I don't know. I don't want to look at what the parameters are on this thing, because how do you know if aliens attack, like what they're going to do and what the attack's going to be like?
How do you know what type of alien they're going to be?
I don't know. I don't know.
I want to hear it though. I want to hear.
Okay, so the question is, are we in the top 10 of states in the state of Florida? Is, in your opinion, the state of Florida in the top 10 states that are most likely to survive an alien invasion or not? Your opinion.
State of Florida is usually in the top 10 of most positive things, so I'm going to go ahead and guess that Florida is in the top 10.
That is correct. All right, would you like to guess? I'll just have you do this and then we'll move on because I don't want to get too crazy with this. Do you want to guess where, 1 to 10, where do we stand as far as the safest to survive an alien invasion? What number do you think we are?
Let's go 6.
Oh, what? Are you looking at the article? Come on, dude.
No.
Yes.
See, maybe I'm the type of guy you need to go play the lottery with.
Well, yeah, that's it. You are my lottery guy. Yes, number 6 we are, behind Virginia, Alabama, Minnesota, Massachusetts, and New York. So there you go.
Minnesota, yeah, because you got Tim Walz defending you, no?
But it also says that Wyoming is very good. It also says Wyoming is the least likely to survive. How is that possible? Because in Wyoming, there's so many places to hide. It doesn't make it. This is dumb. I don't even know why I would. Who made the list? It's I don't even know. It's some. I think it's a casino, something like that. I don't know. It's probably wasn't even worth wasting your time. I'm apologetic to you now because I made you part of this. I should have.
No, this was great. I sounded intelligent guessing the right number. Yeah. I like that. I like that you brought this up, Drew.
Okay, that's it, and that's all I'm going to give you. All right, we move on. What else do we have going on? All right, man, there are so many things that I wanted to wait coming up in just a little while. Jamie Raskin, Democrat, wanted to tell Bill Maher that no matter what happens, Democrats don't think about illegitimate elections and things like that. Really? Okay. No, I'm not kidding. He brought that up, so I'm going to play the audio in just a minute. Also, Liz Cheney went on The View. Do you need any more information than that? She went on to The View. How do you think that went? Well, of course they're protecting her and saying all these horrible things about Trump, and we'll play the audio so you can see what was said in case you missed it. All right, so I'm looking at some of the polling numbers here because obviously we're getting closer and closer. One more day. I can't believe we're this close. It's so awesome. Eric Doherty at FLVoiceNews.com, Florida's Voice, and his X account says the final 24 House projection, according to the Sabato Crystal Ball. According to him, it's got Democrats ahead of Republicans, but not by much.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Some things on your ballot are complicated and some are simple, like Amendment 2, the right to fish and hunt. Amendment 2 is a bipartisan, common-sense measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental leadership. So whether you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you. Remember, Amendment 2 is a bipartisan, common-sense measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental leadership. If you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you. Paid political advertisement paid for by Vote Yes on Amendment 2, 2640A, Mitcham Drive, Tallahassee, Florida, 32308.
I know you're not going to believe this, but if you have a cabinet position and you're serving the American people, you can't go out there and campaign for anybody in particular. That would be a violation of the Hatch Act. I know this is going to shock you, but yeah, there was somebody that was doing that again this weekend. Wait till you hear who it is. We'll have it coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. As Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers, including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, Florida. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Anytime you want to watch the program, all you have to do is go to our social media at FL Voice News. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Rumble, you can go to X. We're there, so you can watch. FLVoiceNews.com is the website, Florida's Voice. So check out all the stories that we are talking about coming up in just a little bit. It's funny how many Democrats can break and can avoid getting around breaking the Hatch Act, and nothing happens to them. Breaking the law and Democrats and nothing happening to him seem to go hand in hand. It's a really weird thing how that works out, and I'll have more proof of that coming up in just a bit. And also Jamie Raskin, Democrat, who has been someone who's been an election denier in the past, trying to explain to everybody that Democrats are not going to accept the election necessarily because of denying elections. It's a confusing thing, but maybe we'll try to make it not so confusing by playing some of his audio, which really honestly isn't going to help a whole lot, but you need to hear it because you have to understand the position that Democrats are taking right now. And it's not a good position, as you can imagine. Speaking of not a good position to be taking, I would hope that at this point, as you've been examining the amendments here in the state of Florida, you understand Amendment 3, Amendment 4, but especially Amendment 3, because, you know, we've tried to talk about this. We had Kim Rivers, the CEO of True Leave, on and had a conversation about how, boy, they seem to stand to gain a whole lot from it being approved, and some of the other things that go along with it, and how you need to say no to Amendment 3. It's so important for so many reasons. And James Uthmeyer is joining us right now on Florida's Voice. He's the chief of staff for Governor Ron DeSantis, and we're so happy to have him on. First of all, it's Drew. How are you, sir?
Hey, Drew, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you. I don't know if you had an opportunity to check out the interview with Kim Rivers at all that I did, and some of what I've been talking about with this amendment. And there are so many things that are just so wrong about it. So I might ask where you want to start. I mean, we can.
Sure. I think, I mean, right out of the gate, you know, the first argument we've made is to tell voters, wake up and look at who's behind this amendment. It didn't come out of thin air. It was written by someone. It was written by Kim Rivers. It was written by a company that has spent over $140 million. As far as I know, that's far more than any company has ever spent to put something on Florida's ballot, very likely any ballot in the country. And why would they do that? There's a clear motivation. It's that they would have a monopoly. They would be one of these select license holders that would be able to sell marijuana in the state. You can't grow your own weed. There's no small business community that's going to be allowed to come in the free market and bring down prices or bring new product. And then at the end of the day, they've written in there very explicitly, and I hope voters at home will go and read the actual amendment text from the Department of State website. They gave themselves broad immunity. It cannot be sued and held liable under Florida law for anything. And I know she pointed out, there was some immunity in the medical amendment. That's true. But they, number one, that's kind of concerning that they do have immunity right now, but they went in and added all this additional language to broaden the immunity. So where she mentioned, we've been sued, in a car collision case, they added language. I mean, they cannot be they shall not be subject to criminal or civil liability or sanctions under Florida law. And then they added all these activities where they're protected: acquiring, cultivating, processing, distributing, selling, manufacturing. So I don't know of any situation where there's a constitutional right to buy something from a handful of companies, and then they're protected if there's any negligence, employees get hurt, gets into the hands of kids somehow, and they're really at fault, but can't be sued.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around, right? So you write the law that you're the only ones that can sell it, and then, hey, by the way, if anything happens in the process or anything that we do, you can't come after us, and not just that, but one of the things that drives me crazy, James, is that I know what it's like because I know people that live in other states where we have plenty of examples of the things that do happen. Not this imaginary world that some people live in where, it'll be different in the state of Florida. It's like saying to somebody, hey, if Americans do communism, we'll do it right. Like, it's a really weird position to take. I see all the time. I know people that live in New York. I know people that live in Vegas and what they do and what it's like there. And you are not going to be able to enjoy sitting outside at a restaurant when the weather's beautiful like it is now. It's not going to be the same. It's just going to fundamentally change things. And to suggest that somehow because of some law that it won't, the amendment that it won't, because it's going to go back to the legislature, that because of the amendment itself, they can't do anything about, is so disingenuous.
I agree with you. You look around the country at the states that have broadened the legalization of marijuana. It hasn't worked out well anywhere. Even states like Colorado, where they've been more limited in the authorities. You can't do it in public places there, yet it happens anyway. You see it in stadiums, you see it in parks. Here, as written, it would be allowed, it would be authorized to go even in public places where kids are going to be more exposed. When you look at states like Colorado and California, black markets emerged. This is why the Sheriff's Association has endorsed against recreational marijuana. The police have come out against it. Highway Patrol, they're concerned that the black market's going to emerge because people are going to want cheaper product that's not from one of these big, weed cartels, and that's going to be combined with all kinds of illicit behaviors. So when you look around the country, it's not gone well. We do have a medical program here. It is safe. It is regulated. This would be taking down all the rules and opening things up. So it's definitely a dangerous thing. That's why the Republican Party of Florida is endorsed against it. The governor, the cabinet are out against it. And it's why we got to keep it off the ballot going forward and are asking everybody to vote no on 3.
Yeah, no doubt. And, before we go, I don't know if you have kids, but I can tell you it's not only is it tough enough, with a 16-year-old to have to deal with the world that's out there and everything that goes on, let alone a world that is going to open up all kinds of doors that I can't even imagine how it's going to affect teens and peer pressure and the like, and something that, obvious the problems that go along with it. But when you are talking about kids that are developing, I know this has been a conversation medically that people have had with me. Like, we're talking about young minds. We're talking about young people who are going to be exposed to this in ways that we have not been in this state. That that's another thing that has to be recognized. You know, the medical side of this, the aspect of what we can do to keep our kids safe, and then obviously when you have kids that are growing, you know, how it's going to affect them in the long term.
Yeah, Drew, you're exactly right. I mean, we're just starting to learn what the impacts will be. We know that in other states that have broader legal protections, rights like this, that the ER visits have gone up in the hundreds of percentiles, more and more kids having seizures and getting taken into the emergency room. We don't know what it's ultimately going to mean for cognitive challenges, learning challenges. We know suicide rates go up in areas where, weed is readily available. So you just have to think, I mean, with everything we saw in the tobacco industry and the problems and the lawsuits, imagine if they had a blanket liability protection, earlier on in their inception. So we're just seeing how marijuana is going to affect the human brain, certainly children and developing people. And we have to be very, very careful. We're certainly not gonna beat China if our next generation is all stoned, by the time they're leading the country.
True. That's the truth. I can't even imagine. All right, no on 3. It's so obvious for so many reasons. Please, if you haven't talked to your neighbors, your friends, family members about this, because maybe, like many people do, they see amendments, they're not sure, they don't know, they haven't taken time like you have and I have to read through all of it. It's long. So inform them, talk to them, make sure they understand what's going on. It's so important. All right, James, listen, I appreciate a few minutes of your time. And listen, next time you talk to the governor, tell him we said fantastic job on this. It's so important. He's getting the word out, and he's doing such a great job overall, of course, but certainly with this topic, which is so important to me. And looking forward to having him on, and you as well, back again, okay? So all the best. God bless.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I'll pass it on. God bless.
All right. Appreciate you. All right. There he goes. That's James Uthmeyer. He is the chief of staff for Governor Ron DeSantis. And the governor's been doing amazing work in articulating these points. It's so important. And you know what a great job he's doing by what people are saying about his communication on this, because they really can't. I mean, they could try to battle back against it, but I don't think they're used to someone who's bringing the fire, as the kids like to say, and the facts the way he does, and articulating the points the way he does. Very few people can do what the governor does when it comes to articulating a position on an issue, understanding it, getting that message across. And it's so important. You've got to say no on 3. You've got to say no on Amendment 4. And these are the kinds of things that you got to get out and talk about. You got to do it. Tell your friends as they're getting ready to vote tomorrow, if they haven't already. And people that listen, I know what's going on with the amendments. This is what's going on. You just, all you have to do is explain to them what's happening. They'll know what's right. All right, 866-588-8303 is the phone number as we move on here to Florida's Voice. All right, a couple of pieces of audio I got to play. Big D on the other side of the glass. Big D, do you know who Mickey Rourke is, the actor Mickey Rourke? Have you ever seen any of his movies, or is he one of those people that you if you see him, you'll know who it is, but you're not sure? Mickey Rourke, the actor?
I don't think I've seen anything with him.
Okay. You probably have, but Mickey Rourke, actor from, I guess his biggest days were probably the 80s and the 90s, but still a popular figure as far as actor. Still acts, right? We should check this audio out. And tough. And oh, by the way, he was also a boxer. I think he boxed, right? Look that up, Nina. Look that up for me in the newsroom.
He was a boxer.
Mickey Rourke. Too, yeah. I think he went into professional boxing, or like maybe not MMA or anything like. But I think it was professional boxing. Anyway, this is a great clip. Mickey Rourke on with Piers Morgan. He's talking about the U.S., talking about how important it is to vote for Trump. Check this out.
That, but I'm not going to go into it because I don't need another visit from the Secret Service.
When did you have one before?
Oh, about 6 months ago.
Why?
Take a wild guess.
Was it because of something you said about President Trump?
Yeah.
What did you say about him?
Just the truth.
Which is what?
Read my mind.
What? Sorry, he's trending on Twitter right now, or excuse me, he's trending on X. I was going to say the tweet that's out there, but he's trending on X. I'm sorry, the way he said that was like creep factor times 10 is what that was. So did he box? Do you see that, D? Did he? Because I don't see Nina getting back to me.
Yeah, it says professional boxer and actor.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that was one of those creepy moments where it's like, wow. Okay, so that's out there. Some other things that were kind of creepy. Many of you know Pete Buttigieg. He's the transportation secretary.
Buttigieg.
Yeah, that guy.
Buttigieg.
You know, one of the things that Pete Buttigieg shouldn't be doing is talking about who to vote for in an election. It's kind of the thing that, you know, the Hatch Act's all about. You'd be violating the Hatch Act if you went out there and campaigned for a particular candidate.
Hey, it's Pete. I'm here at a field office in Michigan where we've seen so many fired up volunteers ready to knock on doors and
where'd you go?
Spread the word, turn out the vote for Kamala Harris, and great Democrats up and down the ticket.
Yeah, you see, you can't do that. It's an interesting thing that happens. It's when you have people who are in the cabinet there, and they go out, and in this case it's the Department of Transportation, and it's Pete Buttigieg, and Pete Buttigieg is telling people, you got to go out up and down the ticket, vote for Democrats. You got to vote for Kamala Harris. It's not really allowed to do that. It's a violation of the Hatch Act. See, here's the thing. When you violate the Hatch Act and you're a Democrat, you know what's happening? Nothing. Not a word. Nothing at all. You got nothing to worry about. You're fine. You're safe. Everything's okay with you. Okay. How about other people who continuously talk to us about election and election integrity and tell us that it's important that we keep an eye on election integrity, and we also make sure that we accept elections, because that's what Democrats do. Democrats have always been known to be the ones that accept elections. I can't even say it with a straight face. I can prove that they don't. So here's Representative Jamie Raskin. He's a big lefty, big Democrat out there, who's talking to Bill Maher on his program over the weekend. He's saying that he's only going to accept the election results if they think it's fair, because, you know, it's got to be a fair election in their eyes.
When I say we will support a free and fair election, no, we're not going to allow them to steal it in the states or steal it at the Department of Justice or steal it with any other election official in the country. If it's a free and fair election, we will do what we've always done. We will honor it.
So, finally.
Wait, what did he say? He said that
if it's a free and fair election, we will do what we've always done. We will honor it.
So, finally. Yeah. And that is the Democrats' history.
That's what Democrat? That's the Democrat history is to honor the election. Are you sure about that?
What purpose is member right?
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified because they violated Florida's prohibition against dual office holding.
Debate is out of order.
Yeah, it's out of order. Hey, that's Jamie Raskin in 2016 when him and other Democrats were telling everybody that the election results were not going to be accepted by them. Because it's what Democrats do. Apparently not. Supposedly Democrats don't do that kind of thing. Right, Bill Maher? Isn't that
There's the big difference between the parties. One of the big.
Yeah, one of the big differences between the parties, apparently, is that Democrats always accept the elections no matter what. There's no doubt. We're kidding, right?
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020.
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate?
Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president or elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
Yeah, those are all Democrats. How does that work again? Yeah. So what else has Jamie Raskin said? He said they're going to accept the election results if they think it's fair, right? Of course, they would only be fair if. Well, here, check this out.
Okay, so, and on that point, I'll tell you, the political scientists have told us the hallmark characteristics of a fascist political party. Number one, they don't accept the outcome of democratic elections that don't go their way. Yeah. Right? Number two, they embrace political violence as an instrument for obtaining power. And three, they're not organized democratically, they're organized top-down as a cult of a personality around a charismatic or allegedly charismatic figure, right?
There you go. Okay, so just so you understand, that's Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat, who wants to let you know that, of course, Democrats always accept free and fair elections. You know, we're the party that does that. The other party's not the one that does. We don't have any problem with that. Oh, and by the way, it might be a problem in this one because the guy in the Republican Party is a fascist. And, you know, political scientists talk about if you have a fascist, then you've got people that don't accept the outcome of democratic elections that don't go their way and all of it. Okay, so I get it. So is Jamie Raskin setting us up for what's going to be what? We're not going to certify the election if Trump has a blowout victory? I mean, is that the suggestion? I mean, you already have a lot of different issues that are going on with poll watching. You have the Republican National Committee that's suing Milwaukee over poll watchers right now. They're trying to make it so that in places like Wisconsin and other states that you are not even able to watch as votes are being counted, not even allowed to have poll watchers there that are Republican. Like, I don't know how the Milwaukee Elections Commission at certain precincts would be limited to one Democrat and one Republican poll watcher, and the specific precincts were not described, which would appear to have violated the requirement that any election observer must be able to readily observe all aspects of the voting process. So they're not going to allow that to happen in certain areas. So the Republican Party's like, what's going on here? You know, you have some of the news that we brought up earlier about Georgia and the concerns there that, well, at least we won there, the Republicans did, that Cobb County, very deep blue Cobb County, they were trying to get 3,000 mail-in votes accepted after Election Day. The Republicans like, no, that's not how it works. And luckily enough, they won that. But there is a lot of what feels like shenanigans that we have to keep an eye on. No doubt. As we continue to watch the polling, the numbers that are out there. Eric Doherty's been doing amazing work for FL Voice News, Florida's Voice. To go back to some of what Eric has been seeing recently, and he keeps posting on his X account. What's the latest that he has? He's showing at a judge. Oh, look at that. A judge has denied a Democrat Philly DA's effort to block Elon Musk's $1 million giveaway to swing state voters. Have you heard about that? Gives away that $1 million. People show up, and obviously Democrats don't like that. And the judge has denied the Democrat Philly DA's effort to block it. Eric sees some numbers out of New Hampshire right now in some of the polling, which is, wow, is that true? All right, so the Dartmouth polling out of New Hampshire in the final poll is showing Kamala Harris up big. Biden in 2020 was up +7. They're showing Harris over Trump by 28. Yeah? That's a lot. They're also showing, Eric is, that the final Sábado Crystal Ball 24 Senate projection has Republicans winning 52-48. Wouldn't that be sweet?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Earl Nightingale for Soundcheck Studios. Have you ever wondered how jingles are made?
Together we'll make America great again. We'll make it great. Together we'll make America great again. We'll make America great. Together we'll make America great again. We'll make it great.
How would you like to have a custom jingle made for your political campaign? Soundcheck Studios can make the perfect jingle for you right now. For information on campaign music, call Soundcheck Studios at 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515. Soundcheck Studios can make the perfect jingle for you right now. Call Soundcheck Studios at 239-340-0515.
America great again. We'll make it great.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24. An election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional. Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, we are live 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day across great affiliates here in the state of Florida. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. All right, it is time right now for the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
And our internal polls have President Trump leading in every single key battleground state. We are cautiously optimistic about a big victory tomorrow night as long as everyone turns out to vote. And we're seeing that people are turning out to vote. When you look at the early voting trends, President Trump and Republicans are leading these early voting trends in every single battleground state. And urban turnout is down compared to where it was in 2020. Female turnout for Kamala Harris is down compared to those that turned out early for Joe Biden in 2020 as well. So all signs point to a victory tomorrow night, but we're not taking our foot off the gas. President Trump has 4 rallies in battleground states today, and we need everyone to get out and vote.
That is Caroline Leavitt, who is speaking for the Trump campaign and giving numbers there on Fox News earlier today and showing a lot of the support that's out there as we are the day before. And I don't know, how do you feel? You feel revved up? You feel ready to go?
Number 4.
Campaign said he was criticizing your willingness to start wars and send American troops into combat without having seen combat. But now he's doubled down on his rhetoric, calling you a war hawk who wants to kill people unnecessarily and calling you a disgrace. What is your reaction to the clip we saw?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, he's said this nonsense about sort of, you know, war hawk before, but what he did a couple of days ago, he's never done before. Taking the step of saying, you know, 9 rifles shooting her in the face, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows it's a threat. It's an attempt to intimidate.
Yeah.
Obviously, the intimidation won't work.
That's interesting because you know exactly what you're doing when you go onto the View list, Cheney, and you lie about what Donald Trump said about the fact that too many people in offices and higher places in Washington, D.C. have no problem sending our men and women out to serve and to go to war and grab a gun and possibly get wounded and possibly make the ultimate sacrifice for this country. And just wondering if you would do the same. Like, it's easy for you in your ivory tower up there to send people out to do that. And what if you were to grab a weapon and you had 9 barrels that were pointing at your face? What would you do and what would you think? But no, that's not what they're going to do. She goes on to The View and they try to make it seem as if it's something that it's not, because that's what Democrats do.
Number 3.
So I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous, guys. I've been waiting for this moment this whole life, my whole life. I need patience over here. Patience, where are you, girl?
And there comes Patience to help her out. So that was Cardi B at a Kamala Harris rally, and Cardi B gets up to the microphone and looks at the teleprompter, and the teleprompter goes... And there's nothing. And what is she going to do but kind of stall? And then she calls for Precious, who I guess brought over her cell phone so that she can read the words that should be coming from her heart, but instead are coming from a teleprompter, because that's kind of what Democrats do.
Number 2.
You think Donald Trump can do that? Do you think Donald Trump has ever changed a tire in his life? If he gets a flat tire, he calls his chauffeur, Jeeves. Jeeves, change that tire. I don't know if his chauffeur is actually named Jeeves, but I like to think it's Jeeves. The point is, if you elect...
You know that moment where you feel like you need to get out quicker than that? Like, get out while the getting's good? Like, if you put down a joke and nobody's laughing, that maybe you should move on. Yeah, Barack Obama never went to that school. So there's Barack Obama who's trying to lay down a Jeeves joke, like Donald Trump never changed a tire in his life, and he would just call Jeeves, I guess his chauffeur, Jeeves, change the tire. And people like, we're not laughing. But he didn't know what to do after that. Oh, which begs the question, Barack Obama, have you ever changed the tire?
Number 1.
Thank you. Let's vote. Let's get out the 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 vote. Let's win.
There's another awkward moment for Kamala Harris on the campaign trail when everybody was chanting her name, Kamala, and then she wanted them to chant something else, and everybody's like, no, we're not going to do that. Ooh, that was awkward.
Drew's Top 5.
I don't even know if I can play that again. It made me feel, it's just like it hurts. Yeah. I don't know if it really hurt that much, but yeah, that uncomfortable moment. And she's had a couple of those. That's not just the first one this week. I think that's the second one in a week. Remember the whole... now you say your name. Remember they did the same thing, chanting her name?
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
No, we don't want to do that. Never mind. Hey, when's lunch? Yeah, that was at another rally that Kamala Harris did. Those awkward moments. Oh, my. Seems like there's a lot of those lately. Yeah, but getting back to the Liz Cheney, The View, lying about what Donald Trump said about the 9 barrels pointed at your face. And of course, it's all they have to run on. And we know that it's all that the Democrats have to run on because the media, Democrats, same thing, ran with it this weekend. And good for Marco Rubio, Senator Rubio, who's like, I'm not doing this. We're really not doing this weekend. This was Margaret Brennan over the weekend, where she was questioning Senator Rubio on this.
Well, in terms of safety and security, that soundbite a moment ago from Donald Trump talking about training guns on the face of Liz Cheney. The Trump campaign says that was about foreign policy. Well, we just played it for our viewers and listeners who heard it. Isn't it possible to make the case without using rhetoric like that?
But Donald Trump doesn't talk like someone who's been in Washington for 30 years. He doesn't
training
say it the
guns
way
on
I
her
would have said it.
face?
No, but that's not what he said. Mario, you guys know that. Come on. I mean, everybody knows exactly what he was saying. What he was saying is, you're so much in favor of war. Yeah, you played a piece of the soundbite, because in another piece of it, he said he would give her a gun to go stand in conflict as well. You don't normally give a gun to someone that's going to be facing a firing squad, which is what much of the media made it sound like. The point he was making is not a new point. It is a point that has been made by people in both parties for decades, and that is, you're all for war, and it's easy to be for war when you're in some fancy building and you're safe and sound in Washington, D.C. Let's see how much you are for war when you yourself get deployed into combat. That's the point that he was making. That he uses language that maybe is not what we typically hear from someone that works at a think tank. Oh, fine. But I think it's truly not just unfair, it's egregious.
Yeah, it is egregious. They continue to do it. Doesn't matter. They're not going to stop, because Democrats and the media, they're all together on this. And anything that they can possibly do to stop Trump. And, I thought, I was hoping that, I don't know, maybe tomorrow we'll get Lee Smith, the great Lee Smith, on with us, who, like we talked about last week, Plot Against the President. He wrote the book, became the movie on what was the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and how it all laid out, and he wrote the book on it. You know, it's something that I've always wanted to ask him and have him describe to you what's going on, because even back then, to go through all of that and to do that, for the media to continuously lie about what this president says, even when you have the evidence in front of you that shows you he didn't do it. How many times can you possibly tell a lie when it comes to something that Trump said? If you go back to Barack Obama, like we played earlier, and he's at the Kamala Harris rally.
Who
right?
said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
That's not what he said. He didn't say very fine people. He said the very fine comment, but then he also said...
But you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Okay. But you keep doing it as if he never said it, and that there is a segment of the population that has never seen this. Yeah, that's the rub, because you're trying to get to those people who never saw the truth in the video, which is out there. You keep perpetrating the lie. But the facts are out there. It's the one thing I wanted to ask Lee Smith, and I hope maybe tomorrow. You ever ask yourself why? Like, what is it exactly? Because it's really never happened to the degree that it's happened now in American history, I would say. Well, certainly recent American history. That you would have so many people who would be willing to do whatever they possibly can to stop this man from being president of the United States once again. You ever ask yourself why? And even the first time, why? Why is it? You think you know the answer. But there's definitely more to the story. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, man, it's a lot. As far as the degree to which the left, the progressives, the Marxists, the socialists, the Democrats, all the same. Prove me wrong. 866-588-8303. You can call me. The degree to which you would want to stop him. When you have evidence of what it was like when he was in office, with all the things he had to go through, and how good everything was. And even for you lefties, it was good. But to continue this is just, it's crazy. And I think more and more people wake up to that fact that you can't keep lying to us. You can't keep having people who are lecturing you on the way things should be when you know that, well, at least you feel like they truly don't care about you. See, you could look at somebody like Donald Trump and say, hey, you got somebody who's got billions of dollars who could walk away from this whole thing anytime, who had 2 assassination attempts on him and still hasn't walked away because he's doing it for himself. Of course not. He's doing it for the country, right? He's doing it for you. It's obvious because you would walk away if you were doing it for you, because that would spell the end, like we talked about on Friday. If you're a narcissist and you care about yourself, you don't get assassination attempts on you twice and then say, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. You say, never mind, I'm out. That's what you do say. But even in the Granite State debate that took place at WMUR in was it Saturday or Sunday? And this was a big debate that's going on for a very important race, as the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, who's been all over all over anything and everything that has been bad, that comes from Barack Obama when he was there, all the way up until Joe Biden, and still being a part of 2 different administrations in the capacity that he's been in. And trust me when I tell you, if you look at all the things that have gone on, especially with collusion hoaxes against Trump, he's been all over it. Jake Sullivan's wife just gets destroyed by Lily Tang Williams, a Republican who's running for office as a representative. It's a New Hampshire congressional debate. And Jake Sullivan's Democrat wife, they're talking about, well, listen.
This is a worldview that my opponent has embraced. She believes that we should give a break to the wealthiest and the biggest corporations and hope for the best, hope that the results will trickle down to hardworking people. I take a very different approach. I believe that the middle class deserves a tax cut, and I believe that we will do a lot for this country by ensuring that we don't continue this disastrous tax policy.
Now, when we come back, wait till you hear Lily Tang's answer. And it's the boiled up frustration of a populace across the country. It's amazing.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, I wanted to play this audio once again quickly before we finish out today. So yeah, this was the New Hampshire congressional debate where you had Jake Sullivan's wife, who is talking about the issues of the economy, and she goes into...
This is a worldview that my opponent has embraced. She believes that we should give a break to the wealthiest and the biggest corporations and hope for the best, hope that the results will trickle down to hardworking people. I take a very different approach. I believe that the middle class deserves a tax cut, and I believe that we will do a lot for this country by ensuring that we don't continue this disastrous tax policy.
Breaks for the wealthy, trickle down, right? All the key words, all the words that are supposed to scare people. And then Lily Tang, who lived through in communist China, right? Lived through the worst of the worst, as you can imagine, has seen it all. And she says...
You are wealthy. You are worth $20 million to $30 million. How do you know about regular people suffering? Do you go shopping, go to Walmart, buy food? I talk to those people. And you pretend to be renter in Nashua a few months ago, moved back to run for this open seat with millions of dollars from Washington, D.C. insiders. And the millions of dollars, I don't have money to run a TV ad. And you pretend you are poor, complain rent is so high. You couldn't save that apartment for other people to rent in Nashua. Just go back to your $2 million home in Portsmouth. Please don't say that, because you do not understand regular people's concern. People cry in my arms on District 2.
Wow. Oh, man. How about that? Talk about... You're worth $20 to $30 million. How do you know about regular people suffering? I don't have enough money to run a TV ad. You pretend you're poor and complain that the rent is too high. Go back to your $2 million home. Wow. Wow. But her frustration and what she knows, coming from a communist country and seeing the deprivation and what has happened and what she's witnessed in her life, to be here in this country and to be concerned about what she sees that could possibly be coming. And then hear from people like National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan's wife, who sounds so out of touch. So out of touch. And to try to make the case. And if you watch the video, you see her there and she looks down. It's like she's shaking. She puts her head down and she's shaking her head like everything you're saying is true. I don't know what's going to happen in that race. But I wouldn't be surprised if she were to win. Boy, that would be amazing if Lily Tang Williams wins. And I think RFK Jr. endorsed her, one of the only endorsements that he's done this whole cycle. So we'll see what happens. All right, a couple of other things that are going on today here on Florida's Voice. Let's see, what do we have?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please, help me reward a very talented young man who is one of the bright stars in the composing business and orchestrating business today, Mr. Quincy Jones.
Frank Sinatra used to tell us every night when we worked in Vegas with him and Daisy, Q, live every day like it's your last, and one day you'll be right.
That is Quincy Jones, who was being introduced by Frank Sinatra. He worked with Frank Sinatra. If you look at the 1966 album from Sinatra at the Sands, a large mention to the music arranged and conducted by Quincy Jones. Of course, We Are the World. So, I mean, so much. I heard that Quincy Jones passed over the weekend at the age of 91. Quincy Jones, how about that? All right, see you tomorrow. It's going to be exciting.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Some things on your ballot are complicated and some are simple, like Amendment 2, the right to fish and hunt. Amendment 2 is a bipartisan, common-sense measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental leadership. So whether you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you. Remember, Amendment 2 is a bipartisan, common sense measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental leadership. If you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you. Paid political advertisement paid for by Vote Yes on Amendment 2, 2640A, Mitcham Drive, Tallahassee, Florida, 32308.
All right, coming up tomorrow, we'll be live 3 to 6 p.m. Looking forward to that, Florida's Voice. And then starting at 7 o'clock, we will be live streaming throughout the evening with all the numbers throughout the state of Florida and across the country. Election Day 2024 tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.